What's up, party people? Strobe Kantarian here, and this video was an excerpt from a stream that I did earlier. So here are my thoughts on EVO, the reveal. So hope you like it. And of course, like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy this content, and we'll catch you donkeys on the other end of this video. Hope you enjoy. Let's talk about the results from the EVO reveal. Of the games that I predicted, I'm only gonna claim, even though I mentioned 7 of the 8 that are actually up there, I'm only gonna claim 6 of them because I thought that KOF 15 was on the outside looking in and that Dragon Ball would be in there instead. But pretty much the only one I really whiffed on huge was Third Strike, but we'll go through that. First one, Street Fighter 6, pretty much an easy guess. I mean, everybody knew that Street Fighter has been part of EVO, I think, for as long as it's ever existed. I believe that Street Fighter, in some way, shape, or form, one version of the game or another, has been part of EVO. So there's really no surprise that that game was going to be there. Tekken 8, pretty much the same thing. I mean, there's been a Tekken game at EVO as far as I can remember. Now, the numbers have not always been the highest as far as participants or registration, and also too, there was a time where EVO had pre-planned its finals based off of the popularity of the game, not necessarily on how many people actually registered for the game. Therefore, there were times where Tekken 8 was not on the, or Tekken 7, actually, should I say, was actually not on the final stage on the last day. But ever since I've kind of noticed it, though, I started paying attention to EVO and the contest. I believe that, you know, Tekken has been a big part of that, and we've seen it there. So it being back, not a surprise whatsoever. Guilty Gear Strive, again, not really a big surprise. It's always, with the exception of its first year out, when Street Fighter V was kind of on its last year and Guilty Gear was on its first year, Guilty Gear actually topped Street Fighter as far as number of participants. So Guilty Gear ended up being the last game that was conducted for EVO, which I guess was kind of nice for me because I ended up falling asleep during it. Which Strive is a good game and stuff. It's just I play it like I played it I think the first month or so when it came out, but after that I just never really got back into it. But then we have Gran Blue Fantasy versus Rising. So that and Under Night and Birth 2. Both of those, once I did the research on it and found out how new the games were, then I looked at Frosty Faustings and the amount of players that participated in that. Like Street Fighter, Guilty Gear were number 1 and 2, and then Gran Blue and Under Night were actually 3 and 4, like convincingly. All of them had over 500 participants when in its entirety there were over 3,000. So you gotta, taking into consideration, like Street Fighter had 700 and over 725. Guilty Gear had 715, so that's half of the participants right there. Now I don't know if that counted for players that double dipped. For example, they were playing multiple titles in there, but still, if you have 3,000 participants, 700, 725, 715, that's dang near half of them right there. Then you have I think it was like 620 and then 540 or something like that for the next two. So pretty much 2/3 of, or almost 3/4 of all the people that were playing, and there were even more titles than what EVO has main stage. Were just in those 4 games, so extremely popular. Not really a shock that those games were there. Mortal Kombat 1, again, NetherRealm Studios pretty much always has a representative in EVO, even if nobody really signs up to play the game. I have a feeling that it will have more than typical just because the game is brand new But, and here's a huge but, NRS games don't really have a long shelf life at EVO because they pump out, like usually the game's there for 2 years at most, maybe 3, before NRS comes out with their next latest and greatest game. And so you don't really see it at EVO very, very long. I think Mortal Kombat 11 was there for maybe 2 years. And then before that, it was Injustice, and then before that, it was Mortal Kombat X. So you just really didn't see it on the stage for that long. King of Fighters 15, I had a kind of, it was between that and Dragon Ball FighterZ. I really wasn't sure which one would have gotten the nod. I probably, because I didn't see any listings for numbers for how many people actually played Dragon Ball FighterZ from the article that I looked at. So it was hard to judge. So really I based my opinion off of the Twitch Steam data, or I'm sorry, not the Twitch data, but the Steam data showing that Dragon Ball FighterZ was played more frequently on Steam than King of Fighters was. But that could also be just due to the net play and stuff like that. Again, it didn't take into account console gaming, so that's only seeing a little bit of the picture, and therefore I didn't really get much of an opportunity to really make a really great decision. And I did think that there might have been a small chance that Killer Instinct could have made it in there, just because they did do the balance patch just recently, and I haven't heard much about King of Fighters 15. Therefore, I had a feeling that if any of those King of Fighters, Dragon Ball FighterZ, or KI, the order I would have put them in was Dragon Ball, KI, King of Fighters. But it shows how much I know, because King of Fighters made it in and the other two didn't. And then Third Strike, really because I didn't know they were doing their format was 7 games and a throwback game. And so if it was 7 games and a throwback game, I probably would have expanded my options as far as different games that could have been there, but I still guess Marvel vs. Capcom 3 just because of the popularity. Now, I do expect that Third Strike is, I want to say, is probably more popular than Ultimate Marvel 3. Therefore, they'll probably get even more participants signing up for Third Strike than Ultimate Marvel. But if I had to make a guess now on the top games to get registrations for, like in order of top to bottom, I want to say Street Fighter is probably still going to be number 1. Get off my screen. So Street Fighter is going to be number 1. I would put Guilty Gear probably going to be number 2. Let's see. So Street Fighter number 1. I think Guilty Gear is going to be number 2. I want to say that Tekken 8 has a chance, because Tekken 8 was at Frosty Fausting and was over the 200 mark, but I think the game might have just been released like within a week of it, so probably there were not a lot of people that were wanting to play it with the game being so brand new. But with it being there, I mean, Tekken has always done well as far as numbers, because last year it came in 3rd. So I think it'll still come in 3rd, but I don't know if it'll beat out Strive because of how brand new it is. So that's my dilemma. Do I put Tekken 8 number 2 over Strive? And if it does happen, I think this will be the only EVO it does happen, is because it has that fresh newness to it. But I'm going to go out on a limb. We're going to say Street Fighter 1, Tekken 2, Strive going to be 3. I think Third Strike's going to come in number 4. I think it's going to have that big of a following that Third Strike is going to be the 4th highest participants in this. Then after that, I want to say I think Gran Blue did better than Under Night at Frosty Fausting, so I'm going to keep that order. So Gran Blue, Under Night, KOF, and I think Mortal Kombat 1 comes in at the end. comes in at the bottom, as per usual. Especially with as many people as I've seen have been complaining about the game, and what I've read is that there's lots of issues with the game itself, and there's the fighting game community is not happy with the state of Mortal Kombat 1. So my final answer is, as far as registration numbers, predictions: Street Fighter 1, Tekken 8 2, Guilty Gear Strive 3, Third Strike 4, Grand Blue 5, Under Night 6, KOF 7, Mortal Kombat 1 comes in dead last. Despite the fact that it's brand new, logically I should probably put Mortal Kombat over KOF. I just don't have any faith in Mortal Kombat's players to really play the game and kind of give it that life. But I could be wrong. Could be very wrong. But that's what I got. And so yeah, that was the EVO picks, the games that are currently there, and we will go forward